a cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill, exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.
You have to control yourself!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking what in Armenian means, here comes the bullshit. We're talking the old head in the fish tank routine. And we're talking, I should have known. That's why you've been acting crazy lately. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking showering with pomegranates?
Jesus Christ, what is wrong with straight people?
I have no idea. Everyone, we are discussing the 1981 slasher Night School to wrap up our coverage of 2025.
Indeed we are, yeah. I was looking back and I realized I don't know that we meant to do this, but we inadvertently programmed 4 relatively underseen or underappreciated texts, like things that people have kind of forgotten about, and then we just threw Jumanji in there as well.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know much about this film. I just thought it was another, graduation day, final exam type slasher film. And that's really not what this is. Much like My Bloody Valentine, which I guess would have come out a little bit after this. But it's about adults. We're talking about adults here.
We are indeed. Yeah, it's one of those slashers that, well, I was going to try to make the argument it has a little bit something more substantial on its mind, but I do think that this movie routinely gets knocked for not being, I don't know, interesting enough, which I don't completely agree with. I think that there's a lot of weird, unique stuff going on here.
I think, if anything, I actually did like this movie, but it's a soft. I don't think it's a particularly great film. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. But I think... It as a slasher, it's not wholly successful because we're not following any particular set of kids. The victims in this film, we meet them for a scene or two and then they get killed later.
Well, it's a police procedural more than anything.
Yes, exactly that. But if you're looking at it through a slasher lens, you could say, oh, but it's a bit subversive because the supposed final girl we're following winds up being the killer.
Indeed, yes. Although... Tell the truth, Trace. Did you figure out that it was Eleanor pretty quickly?
I thought it was really obvious. So it's one of those things where it's who else could it be? There's no way it could be Millet because literally every red herring flag is going off for him.
But you're supposed to think it is him.
Yeah, but so I don't know, man. I kept thinking about this because I was like, if it's gonna be Eleanor, come on, that's so fucking obvious, and it was. But at the same time, I don't know. It wasn't playing by the slasher rules, and I almost liked it for that, which is why I think when you see it compared to giallo films, more so than slasher films, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so folks, if you haven't seen this movie, obviously we've already spoiled the killer, but again, it is a whodunit, but also it's not the most clever whodunit, so in some ways it kind of hardly matters. But yeah, I do think that the comparisons to an American giallo, it's... not wholly accurate, because in some ways I don't think this movie is that interested in doing that either, but I do think it's probably closer in spirit to that than a conventional slasher film of this era.
Yeah, I actually think though, watching this is one of those movies where I was like, oh, this would really benefit from a remake, I feel.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think so too.
There's really good material here that I think with maybe a bit more grandeur or skill, you could make something really good out of this.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. I do think that this film has at least a couple of semi-banging action set pieces. The kills do not go hard enough, but I think that the diner sequence and the aquarium sequence are pretty fucking fun.
I fully agree. That aquarium sequence, by the way, did you get Tenebrae out of that?
Damn it. Okay. So I was going to be like, I told you before we started recording, I don't have a game. Yes, we're finishing the end of the year with no game. But it's also because I was basically just going to get you to play a comparison game. Like every time we got to different things, I was going to say, does this remind you of something? Because in some ways it does feel like we're doing weird homages to other titles.
But the thing is that this predates Tenebrae. So
I know.
anything like Tenebrae, like Argento was influenced by this film when making that iconic, blood against the white wall scene.
No, it's wild. It's wild how films may not, and probably were not even in conversation with one another, but upon reflection, in hindsight, do seem to be speaking to each other. It's like there's something in the air.
Absolutely. But I'm in complete agreement with you, though. The diner sequence in this movie
It's so funny.
It's like an all-timer. I was like, whoa, it is better than most other things in the film. But I was like, how is this not replicated? Actually, what it reminded me of the most, maybe the end of it, too, was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it. Like, I do agree with you, though. I think part of this is that there are certain moments that just feel way more clever than other aspects of the film.
Yeah. But, okay, so I did not know much about this film walking into it, Joe. Did you?
Mm-hmm. I had seen it before because when I taught my slasher course, this is one of the many, many, many 80s slasher films that I tried to make my way through to see if it was interesting enough to program.
Right.
And I didn't ultimately do it, if only because I felt like there were other films that were just better, sort of more representative of what I wanted my students to pay attention to. But I always liked it as a little bit of a curiosity. So that I didn't know anything about the production. I didn't know any of the cast members. It was just, this is a film that comes up and some people really, really like it. But I feel like most people have forgotten about it.
Or never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
The problem is like Night School. Like again, it sounds like one of those other slashers I mentioned, like Graduation Day, like Final Exam. So it's like, which one is which? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. and especially because you're right, we don't actually spend much time at the school with any of the girls.
No, we do not. But that actually is a great segue into the production, because Night School actually began as a film titled Terror Eyes.
Which I don't know that I like any better.
I'm just now realizing as a pun. Terror
Eyes. Get it, everybody? Get it?
I wrote Terror Eyes so many times in my notes yesterday, and I was like, how did I not figure that out until just now? But I have.
Sometimes you have to say it out loud, right?
It really is. But anyways, it would be released, though, as Terror Eyes outside of the United States. And it was filmed on location in Boston in the spring of 1980 on a budget of $1.2 million. And this is apparently
cheap.
Kind of a big deal, because I saw some places say that this was the first American film filmed and shot entirely in Boston. I'm loath to accept those kind of facts when I can't find a hard source, but
I do not believe that for a moment. No.
I guess maybe it's there was no studio work on this. Everything was filmed in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, during filming, I want to point out, so I'm pulling pretty much all of this from a really in-depth blog post from a blog called Hysteria Lives Slasher Trash with Panache. And I mean, they basically just, there's a bunch of reviews for films, but it goes beyond reviews and into production. So this review for Night School that was posted by A. Kirschwell includes newspaper clippings from the Boston Globe in 1980 when they were filming this movie.
Ooh, okay. So we're getting a little bit of an insight from the past, from the time that this film was actually being made.
Very much so. So during filming, the Boston Globe described Night School, or Terror Eyes, as a story of ritual and cross cults, of love and intrigue, of horror and mystery, following in the grand tradition of Alfred Hitchcock.
I mean, are we trying to raise production money for this? Because it feels like we're desperately trying to sell it with that.
That's what it sounds like, truthfully. And they continue, though. It says, the low-budget feature being shot on the streets of Boston features a cast of unknowns, an inconsistent director, an wait, Joe. An unproven producer, and a neophyte screenwriter.
Okay.
Yet, in spite of this apparent inexperience, the cast and crew expect that this thriller about murder in the alleyways of Beacon Hill will become yet another Halloween and When a Stranger Calls success story. This quote specifically was attributed to producer Larry Babb, who some sources say was married to the screenwriter, a woman, by the way, by the name of Ruth Avergan, in her only screenwriting credit.
Yeah, I did see a couple of people, and I gathered it's the folks who like this movie and maybe the specific sequences that we're talking about that feel unique and different. But I did see a couple of people wish that she had tried another screenplay or maybe more screenplays, just because this this feels like it has promise.
Right. And it's kind of like, I'm surprised we don't get it lumped into the Slumber Party Massacre. I mean, I guess she didn't direct the film. She quote unquote just wrote it. But I still think a woman writing a slasher film in this particular era is really important.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially from a contemporary lens, this doesn't, I know the Bechdel test is not exactly what people think it is, but this doesn't quite work because it is weird that a woman decides to focus so heavily on this idea of a women's college and then doesn't do anything interesting with any of the women. No,
and your killer is killing people because she's jealous of all these women who are sleeping with her man.
Well, I do actually like that part because, I mean, I feel like we see this a lot, especially in cheating narratives, where it's like you hate the person that they're cheating on you with, as opposed to being like, why am I giving this individual a pass? Like, Millette is the biggest piece of shit in this movie. Yes. And yet Eleanor is just like, no, I love you. I want to have your baby. We should get married. And you're just like, girl, he's awful.
Okay, no, there's a part in this movie where she's like, yeah, when we get married, and he just goes, I gotta go, and just leaves.
Trace, I literally had that in my notes in all caps. It was like, he just leaves.
And she's still perplexed, but he's flirting with the waitress.
Yeah, Eleanor, sweetie, we got to get you into some therapy and we got to get you away from the bad man.
Oh my God. Okay, so pre-production apparently on this film was not very smooth because the director we have, who is Ken Hughes, was not the original director on this film. So
okay.
Originally, it was going to be Alfred Soule, who had helmed the 1976 slasher Alice, Sweet Alice, which, by the way, we should totally cover one day.
Oh, we will 100% cover that film.
Yeah, but he left after disagreements, and I don't know what those disagreements were. Some sources say that he walked, although the screenwriter, Ruth Avergon, claimed in 1981 that he had been fired from the project. And during this time, when he was still attached to this, Soule had picked Canadian singer-songwriter Vanity, otherwise known as D.D. Winters, for the lead role of Eleanor.
Okay.
Have you heard of Vanity at all?
Oh, God. I feel like I'm going to lose my Canadian status by saying no. The name definitely sounds familiar, but, gun to the head, if I had to name a song or something notable, no, I don't think so.
I do. I mean, she had a bit part in Terror Train this exact same year, but I looked her up, and I don't think she's even a person that gets killed in the movie. So she's one of the other, co-eds on the train.
It's like a background extra kind of deal. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. But she exited the project whenever Soule did, which left this in a bit of a limbo.
Right.
So, hired to take over his job was, seasoned director Ken Hughes. And this seemed like an odd choice. And I had to look this up because I wasn't familiar with Ken Hughes' filmography. But
no.
He was arguably best known for the 1967 spy parody and quote-unquote original James Bond film Casino Royale.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But his biggest claim to fame is probably the 1968 children's musical Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which, funnily enough, is based on because I was like, it's based on a Broadway show. Sure. No, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is based on a book written by Ian Fleming, who also wrote all the James Bond books.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a truly fun trivia fact, isn't it?
Yeah, right? But when he got this job, his most recent directorial credit was the notorious Mae West musical farce and box office bomb Sextet from 1977. And I've never heard of this, and just with that blurb, I'm like, I want to watch this. And I looked it up. The reviews at the time were scary. Because, I mean, it's like a Mae West in her either late 70s or early 80s. It's kind of comparable to whenever Lucille Ball was older playing Mame in the movie Mame. Right. And people were like, this is not good.
Right. She is past her prime. She is a lady of older than 40.
Yeah, she's older than 30. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Send her at the pasture.
She's an old maid. But anyway, so Hughes not only apologizes to that Boston Globe reporter for having to sit through the movie Sextet, but continued with this exact quote. What are you supposed to do with a leading lady who can't walk, talk, sit, or stand?
You put them in bed like in Misery.
Yep. And I was like, well, that's really kind of rude.
That's horribly rude, yeah.
Mae West would have died. She would have still been alive when this quote was given out, but she would have died 6 months later.
Yikers.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so he told the Boston Globe that a prerequisite for a successful filmmaking as a director was a sense of humor about himself and his work. So If there's any, well, okay, there is intentional humor in this movie.
Right.
We can talk about whether the incorporated humor works when paired with, say, the chase and kill sequences, which are very much not played for laughs, or maybe any unintentional humor this film holds.
I mean, we both pinpointed the diner sequence. We will get into it and why that works, but that to me is intentional humor that is definitely successful.
Yeah.
Characters like Taj, I don't know that I find successful, and I do think that that's meant to be deliberate humor as well.
Oh my god, the coda for this film is
so painful.
It's very bad. I was almost shocked because I wasn't riding a high when I thought the movie had ended, but I was like, okay, yeah, like that, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And then we get that prank ending, and I'm like,
terrible. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know why. Doing, but when it came to recasting the lead role of Eleanor, legend has it that Avergon, the screenwriter, pointed at a cover of a fashion magazine that featured Rachel Ward, saying she wanted someone just like that to play the female lead.
So we said, who is the model? Get her down, fly her into Boston immediately.
Exactly. And Ward, this is Rachel Ward, and she was available. She got the role despite having almost zero acting experience, with her only previous credit being a part in a 1979 TV movie. Now, Ward later described Night School as, quote-unquote, just horrible.
Oh, no.
But she conceded that she was thrilled to get the part and credited that the film gave her practical experience, though she lamented that she could have had a field day with the role had she been more experienced, and admitted that during production, she was more concerned with getting the lines out than any attempt at great acting, leading to a somewhat wooden performance.
Here's the thing. I don't think that she's great, but I also don't think she's terrible. Like, I've seen a lot of people say, oh god, there is a wooden block at the center of this film and its name is Rachel Ward, and I disagree. I do find her character interesting. It's more that I wish she had more time to do something with it.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think she was bad at all when I was watching this movie, and only found out later, that people really hated her performance in this. I don't think it's any better or worse than most performances you were getting in American slasher films at this time. But
no, and even within this movie, like, we can talk about how closely aligned we feel with the, I'm going to say, actual main character of this film, which is, Lieutenant Judd Austin, which is, that is a porn star name. I'm sorry.
I think the only thing I'm missing from this performance is in the climax. Like, she needed to go over the top, bigger. Yeah, like full Mrs. Loomis Scream 2, Mrs. Voorhees Friday the 13th. Like,
but it's a problem because she's doing it to her lover. She's not doing it to somebody who is genuinely surprised by this. Like, I think it's one of the weaknesses of the way the plotting works is that she doesn't have an audience to go big to. Well, I mean, hypothetically, she could do it for us, the actual audience, but that's not how movies work because it's not a stage production.
Well, and funnily enough, the rest of the cast was filled out mostly with members of the Boston theater scene. So for them, it might have been a stage production.
There we go. Here's the thing. I think what we're probably going to say a lot over the course of this episode is that it's fine. Like, so many things in this movie is like, you know what? It's totally serviceable. Yeah. And I think that for the most part, that's fine. There's just a couple of times where you see a glimpse of what could have been. And I think it would have helped this movie a lot to have gone a little bit bigger, a little bit more gonzo, out of the box, weird or something. And a lot of the characters, I think, just feel a little muted.
And I think that's a hazard of the fact that we are following the killer, even though we quote unquote don't know it, for most of the movie. So, like, these victims aren't characters. Like, they're just the other women.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Night School was produced by Lorimar, a company better known for producing family-friendly fare such as The Waltons and soap operas like Dallas. But
Jesus Christ. So this movie brought to you by the director of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the people who brought you The Waltons.
That's what I'm saying. But I did look this up. Lorimar would go on to produce both Fright Night Part 2 and Return of the Living Dead 2 in the 80s. Although, I mean, we know that Fright Night Part 2 has had a lot of issues getting like an actual like Blu-ray. I think they just came out with a Blu-ray release of this like a year or two ago.
I think so. Yes.
And Return of the Living Dead 2, I feel like that's the one that people say is the absolute worst of them, but I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen any of the returns.
I've seen one, and I mean, one is really, really, really good. But 3 is the one with the Julie from the OC that people are always like, oh, that one's really fun.
Oh, I remember the box art, yes.
Yeah, but I feel like 2 is the one people say are bad. I don't know. Let us know, everyone.
Sure.
And with that low budget of $1.2 million, the shoot rarely allowed for second takes, though the production did take advantage of 40 locations across Boston.
I mean, here's the thing. If you want a time capsule of what Boston looked like, this movie is great because we are doing a lot of outdoor shooting as well. Like, you really do get a feel for this space. It reminded me a little bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah, like the city actually kind of feels like it's a component of the film, which I truly did appreciate. But I don't love hearing about, we could only afford to do one take. It's rarely people's best take. The first one?
Well, especially if you're working with, a quote-unquote neophyte actress. I'm sorry. The screenwriter was a neophyte. But honestly, basically Rachel Ward was too. But anyway.
Inexperienced.
Inexperienced, yes. So, Laura Marr had originally intended to release Night School, and at this point still called Terror Eyes. I have to really enunciate the two words.
I kind of love it. I can hear you being like, say it so that people can hear it and understand what the pun is.
But they were going to release it in the fall of 1980. And apparently this release did not happen. It didn't come out till September 11th of 81.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out why this didn't happen, but the film was subsequently picked up by Paramount, who had just had a big hit with Friday the 13th, another independently produced slasher they picked up for distribution earlier that year.
They were like, cool, license to print money, cheap slasher, let's go.
Exactly. Now, it was here that the film's name was changed to Night School. And it comes out again September 11th of 81 in the US with very little success. And at the time, the box office failure was attributed likely to the fact that the graphic violence or elements of Friday the 13th and the other slasher films that were coming out weren't in this movie. Like, we didn't have, like, every time we get a decapitation in this movie, we cut at the moment of impact.
We cut away from the decapitations, and we do get to see plenty of decapitated heads or the tops of heads. But if you're going into this movie looking for Friday the 13th level gore, oh boy, are you going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and though critics were not particularly kind to the film, there is no Rotten Tomatoes score because only 3 reviews have been logged for this thing.
Hey-oh, let's change that immediately.
Letterboxd users have given this a 3 out of 5, which is a bit higher than I was expecting.
I think 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking more of a 2.5, but
okay.
But critics did note that Night School was particularly confounding because it tastefully avoided the explicit gore that made these types of films so marketable. And
we don't understand. What are they doing?
So it's like, we really like that about it, but it's still not a good movie. But it's almost like, we can't sit here and complain about the violence because there isn't violence here. So what else can we complain about?
Oh no! How are we supposed to write a critical review of this movie if we can't just lump it in with all the other slasher films that we hate that came out this year? That's
what it felt like, honestly, to me. It was kind of like, we can't bitch about the gore because it's not here, so we just gotta say it's bad anyway. But either way. Somewhat ironically, though, after its weak box office, the film was playing on a double bill with Paramount's slasher parody Student Bodies by October of 19... So a month after it started, it's double featuring with Student Bodies, and everyone see previous episode on that.
Yeah. Oh, question. Do you think that because of getting lumped together with that double bill, that's maybe one of the reasons people read comedy into some of this movie?
Entirely possible. I mean, I wonder how they would play it. Would you play Student
Which one
Bodies?
Do you do first?
I would imagine, maybe Student Bodies first, and then that sets you up for laughter with Night School?
Yeah. Or you do conventional slasher, and then you do the parody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Folks, again, let us know. How would you program that? Would you go comedy first or would you go slasher first?
Let us know. But whenever Rachel Ward hit the big time with her appearance in Burt Reynolds' hit Sharky's Machine in December of that year.
Nope. Never heard of that.
Yeah, I know, right? Laura Marr supposedly bought the rights back from Paramount for a re-release to capitalize on Ward's new success. And
sure, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, and so the press apparently sneered at the news and regularly called Night School a low-budget movie, despite, and this is the fun part, having 3 times the budget of Friday the 13th.
Yeah. I will say you can't see it on the screen apart from the fact that, we're doing a lot of outdoor location shooting.
That's the thing. And so, before we even turned on today, you were mentioning how, I'm a little like, was the lack of gore a budgetary constraint? Like, what's going on here? And I wanted to say yes, but when you look at Friday the 13th, which has way more gore in that movie, but I guess maybe at the expense of all the Boston settings, maybe it costs more money for these on location shoots as opposed to, we're just at a summer camp.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like we rented a summer camp for 2 weeks and filmed there, and it was nearly free versus, we're shooting in one of the biggest U.S. cities.
Yeah. Yeah, entirely possible. So the total box office gross for Night School was a reported $1.6 million. So really, I mean, again, it underperformed, probably broke even, but all things considered, like this was a disappointment. And Lorimar then released Night School to video in the U.S. in August of 1982.
I'm sure it probably did very well on video.
Probably so, but it wasn't until the UK home video release that Night School gained its true notoriety.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, because despite this lack of gore, Night School was listed under the British Board of Film Classification's dropped 33 segment of video nasties. We may have gone over drop 33 whenever we discussed the movie Island of Death.
Right.
See previous episode, everyone, but content warnings.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it's been a couple years. So basically, drop 33. So when the list of video nasties was first made public in June of 83, the list was modified monthly as prosecutions failed or were dropped. So in total, 72 separate films appeared on that list at one time or another.
Right. And then they got dropped off, depending on what happened.
39 of them were successfully prosecuted under the Obscene Publications Act, but some of these films have been subsequently cut and then approved for release by the BBFC. So,
right.
Yes, those remaining 33 that were either not prosecuted or had unsuccessful prosecutions were then dubbed the dropped 33, which, again, looking at this movie, you're like, yeah, of course this was like, you couldn't prosecute this. Like, what the fuck were we doing here?
What are you coming down against? There's nothing here.
Yeah, so Night School remained banned on home video in the UK until June of 1985 when it was released on VHS with over a minute of footage cut.
Stupid.
I know. But, I mean, yeah, out of the many video nasties we've seen, this is probably the tamest.
This is, I mean, again, I'm not saying that this movie is bad, but yeah, if you're coming for gore, this is not it. Like, there's absolutely nothing offensive in this film.
But all things considered, yes.
Well, yes, within reason. If you don't like murder, this movie's not going to do it for you.
Right, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Joe, that's what I have. So, what happens in Night School?
A cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill. Exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.
Okay, so we open with isolated establishing shots of the beautiful city of Boston because we're trying to set it up that this is a movie set in Boston. So it is night. We are at the Jack and Jill daycare, and we are introduced to employee Anne Barron, who is played by Meb Bowden, and she's waiting there with a little girl to be picked up, and then everybody sort of leaves, and she's like, cool, I'm just going to hang out for a little bit on the...
roundabout. I wrote merry-go-round in my notes, and I was like, I know it's not a merry-go-round, but I can't think of what it's called, but it's definitely a roundabout.
Yes, it is a merry-go-round. You are correct. And I like that. Okay, so obviously Anne is our first murderer, and we will, as you mentioned earlier, cut away before the moment of impact. But I do like that we use this kind of innocuous children's playground setting for a murder, because I do think it's quite... I don't know, novel, just a little bit different. And it is a bit freaky to see her get trapped on this merry-go-round as our killer, who we will see dressed in a black motorcycle outfit for the duration of the film. So they don't have a mask. They have a motorcycle helmet that just reflects the image of the victim back at them. And I think that's quite good. And then they also have something, and I'm going to attribute this to Wikipedia. So folks, grain of salt, but they are wielding what is attributed as a kukri blade, which does make sense because if you dig into it, it is traditionally associated with sort of like indigenous cultures, or like it's a foreign style blade. Like it would be a bit unusual for someone in North America. And this is much more about like chopping things as opposed to stabbing things.
Yeah, it is the national weapon of Nepal, traditionally serving the role of a basic utility knife.
There we go. Okay.
But I gotta say, this movie kind of like comes out the gate running because I really liked this opening kill. And I think it's shot really well. So the killer comes up, he starts spinning this merry-go-round around and around and around and around. And what I do like about this killer is that they don't immediately decapitate. They like to like slice their person up a little bit first.
Yes, they want to get a little bit of blood. Also, I love the fact that you immediately misgendered the killer.
Well, okay, I realize it's a she, but at this point we don't know. So I'm saying, because do we really think it's Rachel Ward in the costume doing all of this?
Oh God, no.
Exactly.
No, I'm sure. I don't even know that they had a stunt person really for the film, but yeah, no, this doesn't seem. It never convincingly looks like Eleanor would be wearing this costume.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're doing what the Scream movies do, and we're just putting like a male stunt worker in this outfit to do all these kills.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Anne ultimately gets it, and then we cut to the next morning, but it's not the crime scene. We have to be introduced to Lieutenant Judd Austin, who is played by Leonard Mann. And I kind of made it sound like I don't like his performance earlier. It's not even that. It's just that it's fine, right? He's not particularly interesting. And I feel like it would have been better served if he had a bit more of a personality. Well,
also because the way we're introduced to him is, he's dating or married to this woman named Stevie. And
who the fuck knows? Yeah. Played by Margot Skinner. And you keep waiting for this character to come back.
Yeah.
And guess what, folks? This is Stevie's one and only scene in this entire movie.
I was okay, well, yeah, so maybe we're framing this around this cop, which we do, so it's going to be more about his home life. We're going to get more of that. No. If there were any extra scenes shot with Stevie, they are on the cutting room floor because he'll never even reference her again, I don't think, after this.
No, which is wild. I do have, I think, the reason why this scene is included in here. So basically, we're introduced to the two of them as they are out buying groceries. They're talking about their sex lives. They're very flirty. It's kind of like, hey, why don't we go back to bed because it's your day off? And we don't know who he is in these opening couple of scenes. Like, we don't know until he gets the phone call and it's like, I got to go into my stupid ass job. Oh, by the way, I'm a police officer, that we kind of get the impression. Oh, okay, that's why we're following this dude.
Right.
But initially, it's completely unclear why we need any of this. But what I think is this one kind of throwaway line where as she's preparing breakfast, he talks about how he likes his lifestyle just the way it is. And then we never see Stevie again. And it feels, in hindsight, like we're actually doing a parallel between him and Millette, right? Where he has relationships with women that he has not anywhere near as invested in because he's far more interested in his job, but he's just kind of a shitty partner.
Yeah, because Stevie does get pissy when he gets called away by his partner Taj, and it's like, yeah, but that's his job.
That's his job, but clearly he always says yes, as opposed to being like, no, I was going to take my girl up the coast and we were going to do a picnic or some shit.
Right, now he gets sucked into this whole debacle.
Yeah, but I will say, if that is the intent behind this scene, like if we were meant to draw that parallel between him and Millette, or just even understand, oh, he's a cop who is obsessed with his job and he puts it above all of his personal relationships, like this is the one and only time we will ever hit that beat, because the rest of the time he's just in cop mode. It's like he doesn't even have a personal life.
Yeah, the fact that she doesn't even come back at the end of the film, like, is bizarre, but...
Yeah, like I just covered cruising on my queer podcast with Conrad, and I initially thought when I first hit play on Night School, I thought, oh, we're doing the Al Pacino thing, right? Where it's like the cop who's way too invested in their job and they've got this girlfriend that they need to realize, if I want to be with her, I need to go back to her and let the job just be its own thing. But no, because we never reference Stevie again, we never see her again, and at the end of the film, it's like the movie's just over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's weird. Anyway, so Judd arrives at this crime scene at the daycare, and we learn that this is the second such murder in 2 weeks. But we will also never reference that first murder ever again. Like, we never learn if it's another murder that Eleanor has committed of, like, one of Millette's girlfriends.
It has to be, but yeah.
It has to be.
They say it's like the second decapitation killing this week. And I wrote in my notes, what? Like, because they say it so glibly. Like, yeah, man.
It's
like
very casual. Like, we're just constantly decapitating people in Boston these days.
And granted, police do see more of this on a daily basis than I do, obviously. But I was just kind of shocked by how nonchalant this line delivery was.
100%. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we could attribute that potentially to some not great acting choices or first takes from some of this cast, but it definitely does feel like we see this kind of shit all the fucking time.
Trust me, I do have an award for the worst actor in this film, and we'll get to it.
Okay, well, it's probably not Taj, because even though I don't necessarily love what the character is doing, I do think that Joseph R. Sakari is doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not much of a role.
No, he's a bit of a lovable scamp. You know, he will rib Judd. You know, they have a kind of slight playful combativeness in their rapport. And I think that this is meant to be more entertaining than it actually is, but it does help to, I guess, distinguish Taj.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so Taj walks Judd through the scene, including ending with this decapitated head, which is in a nearby trash bin. But it's like, we clearly cut this woman's head off and then like carried the head over and deliberately placed it in this garbage bin that is filled partially with water.
Yep, and that will be the killer. Which, again, that's a really good MO for the killer, right? Like, the head has to be in a vessel filled with water.
Yes. Okay, so Judd goes to talk to the daycare boss. She's very upset. We learn that Anne was going to Wendell College at night. So she was a model employee, good with the kids, but she had this nightlife where she was trying to get her degree. And so we think, okay, we should pursue that, I guess, just to get some extra background on who this girl was. We also do stop in at the medical examiner, and this individual describes Anne's death as an execution, which Judd latches onto because it's a very specific choice of words. And when you see the blade, it does kind of make sense, right? Like, this is not... I mean, you mentioned that the killer does like to slash at the victims, but at the same time, like, you don't hear a lot about, oh yeah, this person was murdered by decapitation. Like, that's a choice.
Well, so when you mean like by execution being a very specific word choice, it's like there's intent, I think, implied behind execution as opposed
like
to
a punishment, or there's a weird deliberateness to it, right? It's not a crime of passion. It's like, oh, this person was fucking taken out.
Yeah, like this person committed a severe wrong against me, and therefore this is their comeuppance, this is their punishment. Or I guess the killer's retribution of sorts.
Yeah. So Judd immediately begins to speculate, and he does get called out for attributing some Freudian psychology to this, but he speculates that there is something significant to the combination of the head being placed in water. So Taj doesn't seem quite as convinced, but that's also because Judd has a Harvard degree.
But I would also say, like, okay, if the first head was like also left in water, then yeah, I think that, I mean, maybe you need 3 to make a pattern, but still, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty specific.
It does seem unique, right? Like, and again, if this is, you know, the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth murder, then yeah, that's part of the MO all of a sudden. It's not just like, oh yeah, these bodies, like, we just keep chopping off heads and the heads fly into bodies of water. We don't know how they get there, but we just leave. Like, it's not that. Okay, so this is when the lieutenant then heads to Wendell Women's College so that we can meet with, I'm going to call her the headmistress or the chief administrator, but this is Helene Griffin, who was played by Annette Miller. And we are also almost immediately introduced to a student named Kathy, who was played by Holly Hardman. So this is, I'm going to say, a little inelegant.
Yeah.
Like, we get to the college and it's, okay, we're going to talk to this woman. And she's like, I don't have time for you because I'm getting pulled away by this other person who is also going to become important. But you should go and talk to Dr. Millette, who was the teacher that Anne was taking a class from. But also, I can't be there. And also, he's lecturing. And you're just like, there's too much happening and too many characters right now.
I thought that this, I put headmistress in my notes too. I thought she was going to play more of a prominent role. So when she does come back in the third act in a pretty big way, I was like, oh,
yes.
Okay, well, that's why we're covering it for horror queers. But
yes, it is.
She's also like, I wanted more from this character because she was such a bitch. Like, she is
huge bitch.
She's so bothered by all the reporters that are coming to ask about Anne's death, more so than she is about Anne's death itself.
Oh, 100%. You very much get the impression the further the film goes on, and I think the movie visually symbolizes this pretty clearly, that she's basically just a female version of Millette, where she doesn't actually care about these students as anything other than bodies to accost.
Well, yeah, to fuck, right? I guess maybe Anne didn't want to fuck her, or she couldn't get around to her.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, that it kind of seems like maybe she gets Millette's sloppy seconds. Like if someone doesn't go for him, then they'll go for the headmistress. I don't know.
I don't think this movie understands how lesbianism works, because it basically just suggests, oh, well, if you're a woman in power, you're probably a predatory lesbian. And if you're a woman who comes under their sway, you... Like, if you're weak-willed or if you're upset by anything, you'll just fall into bed with them?
Well, and there is something to be said about the power dynamics between Helene and Kathy when we get to that scene.
Oh, God, yeah.
But the film has no desire to interrogate them at all.
Well, I don't even know that the movie comes down all that hard on Millette. It kind of treats it like, oh, isn't he just a philanderer? And you're like, well, he's sleeping with every single one of his students and presumably also grading them. Like, it's huge conflict of interest. Like,
enormous.
All of the power dynamics lie with him.
And it's not a secret. Like, even the local diner waitress knows what he does.
Oh my God, that was my favorite part. Boston is a big city, even in 1980 when this is filmed. But the suggestion that, like, oh, diner waitresses know that this guy is fucking his students. Like, this guy's reputation is off the charts. Okay, so yes, at Griffin's instruction, Judd goes in to listen to Dr. Vincent Millette. He is played by Drew Snyder. Love him. I do think if I'm going to give an acting MVP award to anybody in this guy sucks. And you just know it. Like, you barely have to listen to him say anything to be like, oh, I don't like him.
Well, okay, because again, like red flag central right away. So, Judd walks up to him and he's like, oh yeah, Miss Griffin said I should talk to you. Oh, about what? Anne Barron. And I'm like, why wouldn't that be your first guess? Because whenever he says Anne Barron, he's like, oh yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that
wait,
girl?
Do you mean the student that I'm fucking or the fact that she was murdered?
Like decapitated. Like, yeah. So immediately I feel like he's already like having fingers pointed at him because he should have reacted differently to this, but whatever.
Yeah. And I will say I really had to struggle not to get my back up about the subject matter of his course and the way that he treats things. So, folks, I'm going to acknowledge that this movie is like 45 years old. So, obviously, anthropology was doing things a little bit differently. But I really didn't appreciate that we were calling the people of Borneo and Papua New Guinea as primitive past, man's primitive past. I was just like, oh, wow. You think that you're better than the subjects of the culture that you're studying. And it just, it brought me back to first year university where I was like, oh, look at these people. They're so weird because they're not North American and they have different cultural practices.
But there's a moment later, though, where Eleanor will be talking to Judd about, the decapitation ritual. Yeah. And she's like, well, they weren't like savages or anything. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, thank you for saying that, Eleanor, but it sure seems like your lover, baby daddy / boss thinks of them that way because I don't know, like he's not being graphic or gross. And maybe this is just like the difference in time between now when we're covering this and when the movie was made. But he doesn't have a lot of respect for the people that he's talking about. He is treating them as weirdly racialized, tokenized others.
Exactly. And I'm just going to say this. The MO for the killer is the first time I've ever seen it. Like I've ever seen cultural appropriation be the method of murder for a killer in a slasher movie.
I 100% agree, but it's also weirdly reverential. Like,
yes,
it's almost like, no, we're taking the best of this culture that this other person disparaged earlier in the film. And we're using that as a like, well, I fucking hate these people, but I am going to try to cleanse their soul after I decapitate them.
I guess that's the thing, though. So is it cultural appropriation? Because Eleanor knows, like, and she respects the myth. She knows what it is. She knows what it's about. So she's not just doing this just because it's cool. No,
but she's still a dumb white lady who doesn't actually subscribe to that culture.
Sure.
So she's just like, I studied them and then I took their murder ways to clean the people's souls that I kill.
And also, it should be said, as far as we can tell, most of the people that she kills are completely innocent, outside of the fact that they were, fucking their teacher.
100%. And also, why are we not blaming Millette? Like, I get it. I know this is something that happens, but I'm just like, this movie should have ended with her murdering him.
Like, well, because Eleanor seems to be like, well, that's just how he is. That's how men are. So, but I mean, again, there is that really good moment at the end where she says, if you keep fucking women, I will keep killing them.
Trace, the way that I love that line, like nobody's business in this fucking movie.
So good.
It's so good. You're just like, oh, that is almost as good as if she just threatened to castrate him, but not quite as good because she's still blaming other people.
I think that's why, honestly, for me, like him getting killed at the end of this movie is a bit of a get out of jail free card. Like
100%.
His true punishment should be living out the rest of his life with this woman.
Right? Yeah, like Gone Girl style. Oh
yes!
God, I'm just stuck with this, and she will kill anybody. But I also I don't want to cross her because she might kill me. But I can't sleep with anybody else because she'll definitely kill them.
That would actually be a really good sequel idea. Or, like, have it be the first movie where it's like, no. Like, he's not in on it, but he knows that's what she does. Like, he's with a girl that kills everyone he fucks, and that's the end of the movie. Like, that's the big twist reveal.
Okay, yeah. Whereas the logical sequel to this movie is Child of Night School because she's definitely preggers still at the end of the film.
Which, again, it's like, I guess that's all you really cared about because she didn't seem that upset by Millet's death, but...
I mean, I guess she won because she got the baby?
Sure, but then we're dealing with another, like, woman's problems fixed when she becomes a mother.
Oh, 100%. I mean, let's put it on the table. Eleanor is cuckoo bananas.
Yes.
So... The fact that she wants to blame other women, not surprising. The fact that she wants to get married to the person who's cheating on her and also have their baby, not surprising. Yeah. Okay, we jumped all the way to the end, so let's come back to the school. So yes, we try to interview Dr. Millette, but he's not really forthcoming. He essentially just wants to get the fuck out of there. But this is also when we're introduced to Kim, who was played by Elizabeth Barnitz, and she purportedly knew Anne reasonably well. So we briefly tried to talk to her, but she's kind of like, I also need to go. Like this... We needed probably 5 to 10 more minutes in this section of the film, which I know is hard because it's the first act and we need to get to murders and excitement. But like, we're introducing all of these women and it's like, oh, you should talk to this person, Lieutenant Judd Austin. And he's like, oh, can I ask you a question? They're like, no, I need to go.
Yeah.
And then he tries to ask somebody else and they go, no, I need to go. And you're just like, this is not interesting. You can't just introduce a bunch of people and then have them leave.
Well, it's because also so many of these girls or these soon-to-be victims, they're kind of indistinguishable from each other.
Oh my God. I usually reserve the term white facial blindness for men because men are often very boring looking unless they have, weird mutton chop sideburns or twisty handlebar mustaches or they're balding or something.
Characteristics.
Yeah, but like these girls are all just generically hot college girls. But they're all... to a uniform one, they're all white with straightish hair past the shoulder.
Yeah, but Kim at least has her distinguishing characteristic is that she works at the aquarium, which is admittedly...
Sure, but when you got to the aquarium, did you know that was Kim?
No, that's like, we don't establish that beforehand. I was like, oh, that's that girl from earlier. Okay, because again, when you see like her in full scuba gear feeding all these things, it's like we needed like an establishing shot of her getting this on.
Yeah, get her putting the scuba gear on.
Yeah.
Although I guess it doesn't really matter because we see her taking it off and we understand implicitly, oh, that's Kim. But also I was like, who's Kim again? Oh, right. She was the girl in the back of Millette's classroom. That's the only other time we've seen her.
Yeah.
I will say I found not a ton of reviews of this movie, and many of them are... I'm going to say a little shallow because we're just looking at it as a classic kind of conventional slasher film. But I did see one, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who to attribute it to, but they did acknowledge that they thought it was really interesting that there's a soft class critique in here because all of these students have to work another part-time job. So it's like, we've got Anne who's working at this daycare. We've got Kim who's working at the aquarium. We have Eleanor who's a TA. We don't know anything about Kathy except for the fact that she's apparently susceptible to lesbians.
Her kryptonite is lesbians.
Yeah, just like, ooh, don't put her in a room where she's feeling vulnerable because a lesbian will just take advantage of her. But I did think it was interesting that it's like, oh, okay, these girls are all taking night classes, but then they also all have other jobs that keep them busy. Like in some other version of this film that is interested in characters, they could all be very interesting because they have this rich other life outside of the school. But unfortunately, well, we spent a lot of time with Lieutenant Judd Austin.
Very much. Because I guess, too, because Eleanor's job is working. She's like, what? She's a
TA. From Millette.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she's the only one without should I say like a blue collar killer type job that the other girls have.
Yeah. I mean, like, she works out of blue collar establishments because, like, she clearly knows Carol. Like, they recognize each other when she goes to the Lamplight restaurant and so on. But again, like, she could just be grading papers there. She could be getting coffee because it's a couple blocks away from, Millette's apartment and so on. But yeah, no, everybody else has kind of like, okay, I just got to go out there and, get my $5 an hour minimum wage job to make the ends meet so I can go to night class.
Sure.
Okay, so yes, we have briefly also been introduced to Eleanor in this time, but the most distinguishing thing is that when she walks into Millette's class, she eyeballs Kim very sternly.
Well, that's the thing is like, and this isn't really a performance thing. Clearly, she was directed to do this, but like the movie makes it so clear.
The telegraphs.
Yeah, like she is the only person here that would want to kill these people. So, yeah. I mean, that's all I have to say on it.
And I think the movie confuses other characters as red herrings. Like, I do think we're meant to be suspicious of this headmistress, Helene, and I never am.
I never am either, because again, she's almost like too mustache twirly for this to be effective. Now, granted, would I have liked it if she did turn out to be the killer?
Sure.
Kinda, yeah, just to see what it would be like. But
although admittedly at the time period this movie comes out, probably not, because it literally is the year after Cruising, so we definitely did not need another queer killer.
Well, and then that Windows movie, I think, is what, 83-ish?
No,
like around
it's
there?
80.
Oh, so it's the same. Oh, God, yeah. Probably not the best.
No. But I agree, like, I mean, you and I have the advantage of talking about this, as I said, like 45 years later. So I would have happily taken another queer killer, especially if she's interested or a little bit complicated. But at the time, no.
I was even going to say, like, maybe this film is banking on the audience's unwillingness to accept, like, a female serial killer outright. Like, you're always thinking, oh, it's going to be a man behind the mask. It's not going to be a woman behind the mask, which I would buy into if this didn't come out after Friday the 13th.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, the number of people who still confuse, like, they forget about that first entry and they just skip directly to Jason, who, by the way, would have had a film out this year.
Right. But at this time, like, people would probably be thinking about Mrs. Voorhees first before Jason.
Yeah, that is very likely, considering how popular Friday the 13th would have been the year before.
Because, this would have come out the same year as Part 2, so we didn't even have Jason, like, Hockey Mask Jason yet.
Right. He was on the way. He was in the wings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So one important fact to know is that we do learn that Anne had a secret older boyfriend, but Kim isn't able to shed any light on who his identity was because, of course, Anne was very private and she kept that a secret. Mm-hmm. And then just before we leave, Judd does get some final words in with Millette. And I love that Millette, who, to be clear, once again, is an anthropology professor, but he does feel very comfortable in saying that Lieutenant Judd Austin is dealing with a psychotic killer whose motivations are going to make it extremely difficult to track down because this person is just killing. And part of me is like, are we meant to understand that he kind of knows what's going on? Or is he just doing that mansplaining thing like, oh, well, it sounds like you're dealing with somebody who just kills randomly.
I think it's more the latter, because honestly, what he says, I'm like, yeah, no shit. You're dealing with a psychotic killer? Of course you are.
It's like, yeah, we're talking about somebody who goes around decapitating women and putting their heads in water boxes.
Way to state the obvious, Millette. But at the same time, does he seem like he seems surprised, but not that surprised when Eleanor confesses everything to him in the end? So
here's the thing. Were it just Anne, I'm sure he would say psychotic killer. Can't figure out their motivations, never gonna find them. The minute that he learns that Kim was also killed, you're just like, oh shit, somebody's coming after all the girls.
Right? Like, that should be your first thought. But as we've discovered, he's not really the sharpest tool in the shed.
I think he plays dumb for Judd as well, though, because like when Judd comes to visit him after Kim's murder and says, there's basically two people who have been killed that we can tie back to you. Don't you think that's weird? You can see Millette being like, no, what? How dare you? What?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so we have Eleanor stopping by the Lamplight restaurant, and she is being leered at. This is the other very obvious red herring. Dishwasher / busboy Gary, who is played by Bill McCann. We are also introduced to the waitress, Carol, who is played by Karen McDonald, and whatever this hair / wig situation is. It is, I mean, it's giving the Waltons. It's giving
there you go.
Happy Days. It just doesn't feel right for the time.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 1981. But I will say, like, Carol is one of my favorites. Not just because of her death scene, but like McDonald makes the most of her limited screen time in this movie to where I was like, I'd watch a movie about Carol's day-to-day life.
Well, she seems like an actual person. You know, this moment where she gets really concerned about Eleanor, both personally because she thinks, hey, do you know something about this professor guy? He seems to have a bad reputation. But then she also doesn't want Eleanor to walk home alone because a fucking woman just got murdered.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Carol, you're one of the good ones. Even if you just inadvertently trash talked her boyfriend to her face, and she is the killer, and she is definitely going after people who talk ill about her boyfriend.
I mean, out of all the people that deserve the murder the least, Carol's definitely at the top of the pack.
Poor fucking Carol. She's just trying to work. Like, here's the thing. The other thing we know about Carol is that she works for a boss who's not great. Like, Gus is not the best boss. Mm-hmm. But also, she's having to deal with Gary, who sucks. This is the leering busboy. And she also is dealing with regular sexual harassment from these construction worker customers who come in.
The only reason she is killed is because Millette flirts with her. She doesn't even get to get fucked by him before she dies.
Right? Yeah. Like, also, Eleanor, you're honestly going to go around killing every person he even flirts with?
I mean,
every fucking diner waitress, coffee girl, coat check woman. Everybody in Boston is now on high alert.
And there's another version of this movie that's told where you know Eleanor is the killer up front, and it's played as a black comedy as she's going through all of his other women.
All of his, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so needless to say, Eleanor does not take kindly to Carol questioning this, you know, hey, what's with that guy's reputation at your school?
He's a whore.
Is he truly fucking everyone? So anyway, Eleanor just kind of ups and leaves immediately. And Carol says, you know, just be careful when you're walking home. So we do get to see her walking home. And Trace, I'm curious, did you get a homage out of this sequence where she is walking and we focus on her feet and then we see the feet of what is obviously Gary following her and his squeaky fucking leather shoes?
You know what's funny is I didn't think about this when I was watching it, but the way you just described it, it's cat people, right?
It's cat people. Yeah. It's the bus scare from cat people. Yeah. And it literally ends with not a cat, but a dog.
A German Shepherd jump scare. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. I think you're spot on with that.
Which I kind of love because, like, I don't think it's the best sequence, but it is surprisingly tense because you keep waiting for something to happen and then nothing ever does. Well, but even, I mean, we haven't talked about the score for this movie, but I think the score is a bit of a banger.
Oh, and see, I'm sitting here like, I don't remember the score from this movie. Oh, no.
Okay.
A reversal for us. But yeah, I one thing that I do think Hughes is genuinely good at are the more horror-leaning sequences. Like, I agree. This chase isn't like an all-timer scene. I'm sorry, this stalking sequence. But it's well done. And is that because, it might be a bit of an homage / rip off of the same sequence from Cat People? Maybe. But hey, he's good at it.
I mean, lift from the best, babies.
Yeah.
I will say I also love watching people struggle with their keys when they are frantically trying to get inside.
Which I thought this was Halloween.
It could be Halloween. Yep. Take your pick. I mean,
movie.
Because we also do it in Halloween H2O. Obviously, that would not have come out by now. But
well, I think the Halloween H2O riff is a riff on Halloween.
Yes, correct. There was someone else.
It's a horror movie stable. We just can't think of them off the top of our head right now.
This is true. So this is why I don't play the games.
Yeah, exactly.
But all this to say, good, tense stuff. You know, you keep waiting for Gary to attack her because we clearly see that he is, in fact, actually following her. Also, it's a plot hole. We will see Gary one more time, but it makes it seem like, oh, why does he just take 2 days off from work? Like, why? It doesn't matter. It ultimately doesn't matter. But it's just one of those like, well, he conveniently isn't at work for the 2 days when he could be committing murders.
Yeah, but that also, I mean, that seems also kind of very giallo-y too, right? To have this character disappear and then he comes back in the very last frame. So be like, oh, I'm the killer. Surprise.
That is very true. Yes, we do love to do that in a giallo, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Eleanor has this harrowing stalking sequence, but she manages to make it inside. Trace, what is the thing that you always do after you suspect someone has followed you home? Take off that top and get in the shower.
I was like, you mean lock the chain bolt on the door? Which is, she does do, luckily. But yeah, yes. Like we have a very extended sequence of her showering as we are then shown someone who we assume to be Gary is trying to get inside the front door.
Yes, so it's black leather gloves. We see them try to force open the door, but yes, we have done the deadbolt, and the person begins ringing the bell, which is admittedly not serial killer behavior, but we can't hear the bell because of the running water of the shower. And I do love the moment where Eleanor thinks she hears something, so she turns off the shower, but the ringing has stopped by that point, so she turns it back on.
But then the ringing starts again.
Yeah, and then we see a figure creep through the door, through the shower curtain. Psycho. And we pull it back. But don't worry, everybody. It's just Millette, because this is your twist reveal. Oh, wow. Eleanor is also sleeping with him.
Well, and I think this is like, if you had any doubts about the identity of the murderer, like this is a big clue that's kind of like, well, yeah, this is a big fucking motive right here.
I think we're still meant to believe it's him throughout like 90% of the film.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it's well executed, but I think that's what the film believes it is doing.
Well, I want to believe that it's smarter than that, because I don't think this is necessarily a stupid film.
Yeah, I truly don't know. You know, this is also a screenplay written by a person who only has one screenplay.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, again, it also could be like that Slumber Party Massacre thing where it's like, oh, like they made it more comedic when they were filming it, or like maybe some of the screenwriters like jokes didn't make it through because the director didn't think they were funny, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, I wish we had a little bit more insight into how the collaborative process went between screenplay and director, and if something changed when we had to bring a new director on and so on.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
But we don't know, so that's fine. Anyway, these two are fucking, and they're fucking with half-cut pomegranates.
Okay, what is this? Like, I even looked it up. I was like, you know, you can get like pomegranate scented like things at Bath and Body Works or whatever, but it's like,
that's not what this is. This is a full-on fucking pomegranate we have chopped in half, and we are squeezing it to get the juice out so that we can rub it over her back and tits.
And it looks kind of like blood, so it's kind of cool. But then
100%, which I think is like the only reason, again, that this scene is in here is because we start before we see the pomegranate, before we see him covering her in it, we just see the bottom of the tub, and it's bloody water, and you think, oh my god, Millette has killed her.
And that's your Psycho homage, though, right? Because it's the blood swirling down the drain again. Which, because the way that this scene starts, too, is we get the shot of the shower head, you know, turning on. But it's different than Hitchcock's, because if you remember when we talked about Psycho, you know, we have the under the shower head as the water, like, you know, hits the camera, but it doesn't hit the camera. Yes. We don't do that here. We do a profile shot of the shower head. And I was like, well, that's like, you're doing a Psycho homage, but you're doing it like half-assed.
We couldn't afford the setup. We couldn't afford to ruin the camera.
Yeah. Or I wonder if they're like, how did Hitchcock do this? I don't know. Just fucking figure it out. We'll do a profile.
Yeah, I mean, so much of this film does feel like it's at least self-aware or aware of other texts, because like we've clocked 2 or 3 substantial references. So it does seem like it has that level of awareness of itself as a text in conversation with other titles. But then I do wonder how much of this is, ooh, we're just hampered by that budget. You know, the fact that if we fuck anything up, we only have enough time and money to do one take of things. So
that is true.
We want to do Psycho, but this is the best we can do in the time and money we have.
Yeah, actually, you just answered my question right there. So yes.
Maybe, yeah. Anyway, this is weird as fuck. Like, aside from the fact that we get this cheeky, okay, yeah, we're doing a Psycho thing, and don't you love the red water? Oops, it's not actually a murder. Like, I love all of that, but then we keep having to watch him apply pomegranate juice to her. It's just like, what is happening right now?
Like, there's a shot where he turns her around, so it's just her ass facing us, the audience, and he is just like caressing her cheek with these pomegranate arrows, and I'm like, oh, and it just keeps going. Like, it goes and it goes and it goes.
Like, are we dragging out the runtime? What are we doing right now?
It's kind of hot. Like, it's erotic in a way. Hot. But, like...
in a bad Cinemax kind of way. Yeah.
It just feels so out of place in this movie.
Yeah. And then we just go directly from this to a scuba diver at the aquarium working in this giant tank. And you think, I'm sorry, what?
With no context provided.
No.
And again, we watch this scuba diver, who we will find out is Kim from earlier. Yes. Scuba diver feed all these turtles. There's sharks in the bin. There's an old lady watching through the aquarium window. And we're like, cool. Again, this goes on for quite a while before we figure out who this is.
Indeed. We do see that the killer, dressed in the motorcycle outfit with the helmet, is also watching. So we understand implicitly, okay, this person is probably going to be murdered or there will be an attack sequence. But yeah, it is... Hey, everybody, have you been to the Boston Aquarium? Because it's very pretty.
Very much so.
So Kim hops out of the water. We get the reveal. Oh, it's her. And we then get to watch her as she goes down a number of back employee hallways and stairwells. And again, interesting visually. It's like, okay, here's what the back area of the aquarium looks like. And we see that she is being followed by the killer. And, they're dragging the blade against these, what do we call these walls or these floors? It's like... It's not mesh. It's
like netting almost.
I don't know. It makes an interesting sound, right?
Yeah,
when we run the knife across it. So.
It's not just knife on metal.
Yeah. So she suspects that something weird is happening, but she ends up going down. She gets changed into a white robe in the employee lounge, and then she basically opens up a closet, and the killer is just in there waiting for her.
Yeah, I was like, wait, were you following her into this room? Like, I needed to see. So
geography is a mystery.
But okay, so she again. This was unexpected for me because this also goes on for quite a long time. But she is running from this killer. The killer is slashing at her, and so we should point out the color palette of everything on screen at this point is like white or off-white, like nude and neutral colors. So every time this girl gets like a slash in her arm, she's up against the wall. Like rubbing blood against it. And so this is the scene we were talking about earlier where it's like, oh, we think maybe Argento borrowed from this for Tenebrae because...
It has to be. Like, it's impossible to watch this and not be like, oh my God, that's Tenebrae. And then you realize this is before.
The only thing is like, it's missing like the arterial blood spray from Tenebrae. Like, it's not over the top like that. We just, like, it's clearly like, oh, we rubbed some like fake blood on this woman and had her rub against the wall. Like, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's a little understated, but I do think the contrast between the white of everything and then the blood red, it is good. I also like that we randomly throw a net on each other. So the killer throws a net on her. And let's be honest, Kim is not... She's not a laudable final girl. She's a little bit wimpy. She's like, But she does get the net off, and she does manage to throw it onto the killer, which I appreciate.
Yeah, she still gets decapitated, but yeah.
She does, yes. And then we just see the head get tossed into this enormous fish tank, and this poor, curious-looking turtle just kind of checks it out.
Oh my God, I know. Oh, I thought it was going to eat at her neck meat, but it doesn't.
Right, No, this is classy, Trace. These are adults. We only do that with teenagers at summer camp. All right, so we move to lunch at the wharf as Judd and Taj continue to brainstorm. Why are these heads turning up in water? It doesn't make any sense. And so Judd ends up going to Millette's house to question him further, because obviously we didn't get to do it at the school. But when he rings the doorbell... Guess who answers? It's not Millette, it's Eleanor. Because she is, quote unquote, working.
So I love this. She tries to like turn him away, and he's like, I'm not a traveling salesman. You have to let me in.
I did enjoy that because she basically tries to suggest that Millette is too busy to talk to him because he's working. And you're just like, ma'am, I'm with the fucking police and we just had our third murder. You're going to let me in.
Yeah. Like, it's really funny. It's really good.
It is good.
But again, at this, Millette doesn't even seem surprised when he comes in to talk to him.
No, we do get a look at his office. Like, this is clearly in his house, but he has a work from home office. And I'm not gonna lie, it is set decorated to look like a fucking museum. And I just wrote in my notes, wow, so this dude is a huge colonizer because he just has like masks and heads and like spears and all kinds of, it's a very interesting looking set in terms of, oh, your eye can wander to any number of different objects, but you're like, oh, this dude sucks because he is clearly like, it's not even a museum. This is just his office. He's just taken all of these cultural items.
But this is where he brings his students that he's going to fuck, like takes them around his like little museum room and goes, hey, doesn't this make you horny?
Yeah, touch the little desiccated apple heads. You hot, you wet. You want to go to Bone Town with me now? It's weird. Here's the thing. He's also not a bad looking guy, so I can't understand the appeal. It's not like he's a fuggo or anything, but it's just, you're like, oh, he's also very smarmy. Like every time he opens his mouth, you just think, I don't want to fuck this dude. This dude sucks. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't want to. I would hate myself afterwards.
But Eleanor still, like, again, like, will do anything for this guy. And that is kind of the thing where it's like, I get why any girl would want to fuck this professor. Yeah, sure, get your A, by all means, do it.
Oh, wow.
But that's why they're doing it. But, like,
do you think so? I just think that they like the attention because he's a relatively young, attractive guy.
Do you not think they get A's out of this deal?
I mean, I would hope
they do.
At bare minimum, if you're going to fuck your professor, you should be getting better grades out of it. But also, don't fuck your professor. And if they try that with you, report them and get them fired.
100%. But Millett does say, I don't get emotionally involved with my students. He doesn't comment on whether or not they get emotionally involved with him.
Oh, Trace, he's still lying. I think even to himself when he's like, no, I don't fuck any of these girls. It's just rumors. You know what these young women are like. And you're just like, dude, we know what you're like.
And Judd, luckily, I mean, like, respect to him, like, he seems shocked that Millett so easily believes that. He's like, are you serious? Like,
yeah, like, are you a fucking idiot? Come on.
Yeah.
So part of the reason that we have come here so that Judd can essentially say, hey, another one of your fucking students has died. What is going on? We don't get very far because ultimately Judd is asked to leave, but Eleanor has overheard this entire conversation and she gets upset with Millett and he accuses her of having a jealous tantrum. He's like, ugh, don't make this out to be anything that it isn't. And it's like, no, she just heard you confirming to a police officer that you're fucking multiple other people. Yeah. I think she has a right to get mad.
Well, she even tells him, I think in this moment, she's like, I'll do anything in the world for you, but there's always somebody else. And if at this point you are not clued into the fact that she is 99% like most likely the murderer, that's it. I mean, like she has it all right here. Like she wants to be with this guy, but all these girls keep getting in the way. Who could be killing all these girls?
I think if you are not an inquisitive audience member, though, or maybe you just haven't seen many of these whodunit style slashers, I think you could still believe that she is the innocent final girl. Like, oh, Judd is going to rescue her before Millett kills her.
Right. Yeah.
But I agree with you. It's like, it just so obvious.
I think it's the movie banking, again, on the audience's generalizations about the female sex.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Female screenwriter, movie about a female college. And we go there, but we never fully go there. Like, I almost wish we had just put the hat on the hat on the hat and said, this is what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we go to the lamplight because Eleanor is very upset with her boyfriend, so she steps out to go to this restaurant. I keep wanting to call it a diner, but it literally says it's the Lamplight Restaurant.
I know, I wrote diner in my notes, even though I saw the Lamplight Restaurant.
It's a fucking diner!
And later, someone will call it a cafe.
I know, I know it's semantics, but semantics can be important, folks. Anyway, Carol is there. She's very, comforting of Eleanor. She says, oh, if it's man trouble that you're having, just forget him. Like, dump him. He's not worth it.
And she's like, well, you're next on my hit list, bitch. Tell me to forget my man.
So, well, part of the reason that we end up getting into trouble is because Millett ends up arriving at this restaurant so that he can apologize to Eleanor. And then this is where he flirts with Carol. So it's like he basically sits down, apologizes to Eleanor. She apologizes back to him. Carol shows up and Millette just immediately begins flirting with her.
Okay, wait. That's not right. So he does flirt with her, but only after Eleanor has told him, hey, I'm pregnant with your baby. I'm not having an abortion. And so Carol walks up and then he flirts with her. And it's like,
yes.
You're one of your girlfriends just told you that she's pregnant with your baby.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she calls him out and he's like, oh, I mean, I'm just being nice and polite and blah, blah, blah. But like, I mean, and this is when, you know, she's like, well, when we get married, Vincent, I gotta go.
Yeah. I will say the other line, I was so appalled. I mean, as I said, he's terrible. He's so hateable. I love to hate him in this movie. But the reason I had to include it at the top in my opener was because I gasped out loud when after Eleanor tells Millette that she is 3 months pregnant, she's going to keep it, she's not getting an abortion. Sidebar, points for saying the word abortion in an American film in 1981. But his response is, so that's why you've been acting crazy lately. And I was like, I get it. Women who are pregnant definitely have a bunch of different hormones. And yeah, sometimes they can get upset and they can get hangry and other things. But like, if I am a man with a pregnant woman sitting across from me, I am not telling her that she is acting crazy.
Well, unfortunately, though, he's proven correct because she is the psychopathic killer.
She is acting crazy. She is murdering people, admittedly, but he does not know that, or at least we don't think he does.
I don't think he does. I don't know, but
it is wild. This scene is great. There were just like so many moments.
Yeah, this is one of the, again, is it intentional or is it unintentional comedy? I'm not always 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know in these moments for sure. Also, even just her asking him, so you're going to let me have the baby. Like she tells him, I'm 3 months pregnant and I'm not going to have an abortion. I'm going to keep it. And then moments later, she literally says, so you're going to let me keep the baby? And I just thought, oh my God, it's like he's a cult leader and he has brainwashed her.
It's your baby, bitch.
It is your body, your choice, Eleanor.
Yeah, exactly. But
until you start chopping off other people's heads, and then it's their bodies and not their choice.
But it's fine because, you know, he pieces out of the restaurant or the cafe or the diner. And Carol
just immediately.
But Carol's like, tells her like it is, you know, like if you believe that bullshit, you'll believe anything. And and again, like Eleanor's like, but then that seems to be like the final straw.
That's what's going to get her killed.
I'm going to kill you
fucking
now.
Carol.
Exactly. Which again, there's an interesting idea there. It's just like we don't really do anything with it.
Yeah. No, instead we have to go to the college where Vincent, that's Millette's first name, he tries to get in to speak to this headmistress, Helene, but she just turns him away because she is contending with another very upset student. That would be the return of Kathy. Hi, Kathy. This is the only thing we know about you is that you have apparently fucked Millette and you're very upset about it. But I did love that Helene kind of gives him this look like, I don't have time for your shit right now. Okay. Also, I'm going to prey on this vulnerable young woman.
Because what she tells this girl, she tells her, you're very sweet, and unfortunately, men are going to take advantage of you. And I honestly, like,
boy.
I know that this is not a positive portrayal of a lesbian character. Like, this is like predatory lesbian, like to a T. Like,
101, yes.
But I almost do like the juxtaposition of this with what Millette is doing.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's the film saying people who have power are equal opportunity offenders. Yeah. And also, it doesn't matter if they're straight or gay. Like, here's this woman who has power, who you think she is doing a good job of comforting these students, but really she's just looking for an opening. And you realize, oh, she and Millette are the one and the same.
Yeah, but we won't get to that until later. That's the thing is, like, the Helene's scenes, it's like one in Act 1, one in Act 2, and then her death in Act 3.
So question for you, did you suspect that this is who she was as a character? Like, did you, because I didn't tell you why we were covering this film. I was just like, yeah, we're ending the year with this underseen slasher. And you never asked me, so I never told.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. Mostly because I didn't think like a movie released in 81 was going to go there really with this. And admittedly, I don't think the movie does, like, it's just there for shock value, it seems like to me. I
think so, yeah.
But at the same time, I was kind of like, didn't expect to see this in this movie.
And not even the fact that, you know, okay, so we follow Helene as, you know, we close the door and we've got Millette listening as Helene is comforting Kathy and saying, it's not so bad. But then he walks away, and as he leaves, we cut back inside the office, and Helene is essentially telling Kathy, well, you live alone, don't you?
Come
you
stay
don't
with
want to
me.
be alone. You should come stay the night with me. And it's at this moment where you start to realize, oh, that's an interesting way of that's who this woman is. But yeah, it's not fully unexpected, but it's just, oh, okay, so we're going to do that. But I never actually thought we were going to see them in bed together.
No.
I figured she would try to make a move and Kathy would be like, that's not who I am, or I've actually already been sexually assaulted by a powerful figure at this institution, so I'm saying no. But also, I would be remiss if we did not acknowledge that we are back to lesbian hand touching and face touching, because when Helene is like, you should spend the night with me, she fully cups Kathy's face with her hands. She's just like, oh, lesbian hands.
It's very intimate. Yeah.
All right. So, let's get to the Lamplighter restaurant Carol death scene, Trace. I think that this is the high point of the film.
It really, really is. I mean, and this is, I mean, I would say that the kill scene, like the chasing, goes on for 5 minutes, and then the aftermath with the where is the head goes on for another 5 minutes.
Where is the head? The game has begun.
I love how scrappy the fight is. I think Carol is very resourceful.
Sure. I mean, it's not like an all-timer or anything.
No.
It's not like she gets in a bunch of licks, but she is resourceful. Like, she has been left alone to close up the lamplight by herself. And so we stacked all the chairs up and we start throwing chairs at this killer. I also like that the scene opens with this very slow push or zoom in on the window. Like, I think that this whole section is very artfully shot. Like, we didn't need to do it this way, and yet we chose to, just as a bit of a stylistic flourish.
Agreed. And McDonald, again, she has to do a lot with a little, but like, there's a part where she uses the chair as kind of a weapon and a shield at the same time, but then when she loses that, she just says out loud, like, what do I do? And I'm like, right there with you.
Relatable content. We should also note that there is a moment before the attack actually begins where she's cleaning up, and we see her basically find this pot, this enormous, like, sleepaway camp style pot.
It's a stock pot,
yeah. And she sees it in the fridge and she's like, what is this doing here? And you just think, oh, that pot's going to come back into play, which I love that we set it up.
Oh, okay. So, hey, the kill scene itself is good enough. And again, I think she makes it out. She goes down. I want to say
she makes it all the way outside. Once again, this killer is bamfing. So, like, they were inside the restaurant and then they're waiting for her down in the alley.
But like, she's running down the alley and she runs right into the killer. Again, very Sarah Michelle Gellar. I know what you did last summer. But then this next scene, the next day, this is my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay, so we have killed Carol in slow-mo multiple times. We get to see, like, the blade coming down, edit, coming down, edit, coming down. And then we cut to the next morning as Gus. This is the owner of the restaurant, played by Nicholas Karras.
And my vote for worst acting performance in the film.
You mean, what the hell has happened here? Oh no, why me?
Oh my God, look at this. Like, when he finally finds the head, he just goes, oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was the actual owner of this restaurant who was offered the opportunity to moonlight as an actor in exchange for not having to pay to use his diner set.
Right.
Like, if you want to say, oh no, there's a wooden performance at the heart of this movie, here it is.
It's this one. But so he comes in, he's opening, the restaurant the restaurant, cafe, diner is in shambles. And we have these two, I guess, construction workers come in. They seem like they're regulars. They always get
These are the two who were sexually harassing Carol the other day.
Right. So Gus is like, here, I'll get you some beef stew, because that's what we have still from this stock pot that was left out overnight.
Hey, Gus, we're hungry. Can we get coffee? Gus, what's taking so long? Hey, can we also have some beef stew? Gus, what's taking so long?
And here's the thing. thing. This movie and Ken Hughes know that you think that head is going to be in this pot.
100%. Yes. You're waiting for it. You are just waiting for it because that's where the beef stew is, folks.
And like we'll have shots where it's, Gus is going to the back, and the camera just kind of slowly pans over to the pot, and we slow zoom in on the pot.
Yep.
He's scooping this, and I was like, well, he's scooping like ladles of beef stew out of this thing. He would have felt a head-sized object in there, but
yeah.
Still, one of these guys, they get a clump of hair in the stew, and you're like, oh no, like.
Yep.
And then we have to go through this sequence. Well, sorry, this moment where Gus empties out the pot. He dumps the pot into another pot, and it goes on for so long. Like, I actually, because you can't, like, it's a deep pot, as you said. So, like, when he has it, like, tipped over completely at a 90-degree angle, you still can't see all the way to the base.
Back there? Because if not, where did the hair come from? And then you realize the head was in there for a while, which is how we get the hair, but then the head is somewhere else. But it's like, okay, so we just, moved the stew from one pot into another giant pot. We're still moving things around. It's like, where is the head? And then we notice the sink is clogged, Trace. There seems to be a large amount of water left in the sink. And then you're like, okay, well, let's get to it.
It's so funny though, because I actually thought my reading of like the hair in this sock pot was completely different, where it was like, oh no, that's just because they're not sanitary when they make food.
You know what? That also could check out. Yes.
But
Gus, you ever think about wearing a hairnet?
Yeah, exactly. So
it's so good, folks. Like this whole sequence, as Trey said, it feels like it's about 10 minutes long, and you just keep waiting for the head to be discovered, and you're like, oh, it's not where I thought it was going to. Oh, okay. Wait, what? What are we doing then? Oh, okay, there's the head. Got it. It's so good. And there's no way to deny, like, this is obviously very self-aware.
I was just trying to see if we could, like, if there was like a clip of it on YouTube. But unfortunately, as I learned a lot during my research yesterday, whenever you search Night School movie, it turns up the Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish comedy from 2018.
Yeah, really hope. I realize in hindsight, I should start specifying the year, even if I think that the title is very noticeable, because I did definitely forget that movie existed. So I hope nobody watched that Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish movie in anticipation. Like, oh, wow, they're really choosing an off-kilter movie to, I guess they're wrapping up the year with a comedy?
Maybe maybe it turns horror at some point.
Folks, I will probably never recommend that you watch a Kevin Hart film. So it's like that meme of, if I ever said this to you, then it means I've been kidnapped and you should call the police. Yeah, watch that Kevin Hart movie, everybody.
Something is wrong with Joe. Something is wrong.
Yeah. Je m'appelle la police. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we have another murder. So Judd and Taj question Gus about the Tutti Frutti dishwasher, Trace. Why is Gary a Tutti Frutti dishwasher?
So I got the impression that he's developmentally disabled in some shape, way, or form.
He is, and it's a bit of a gross performance, like when we actually get moments with Gary, because initially you just think he's creepy, like he's very lecherous, as I said, when he's looking at Eleanor, and then you think, oh, well, he's stalking her, so okay, he's a bit of a sexual predator. But then the further we get into the film, you realize, oh no, he's meant to be developmentally disabled, and this is, as far as I can tell, an actor putting on a performance, and it's offensive.
Yeah, it's a little I Am Sammy. But I mean, no, not as bad as that, but it's still, pretty bad.
It's just not great, but also, it's 1981. It's what we did. We're not excusing it. We're not condoning it, but it is what we did.
Yeah, but either way, Gary hasn't shown up to work in 2 days, so putting a bigger target on his back.
Yes, so we get his home address, and we go, and this is going to be the start of letting ourselves into places, even though we don't have a warrant, and no one has actually opened the door for us. So they arrive at Gary's, they find that the door is open, so they just go inside. Shout out to the set decorator for this, because the walls are just filled with topless women.
They sure are. And, he probably says, oh yeah, that's my research. These are the cultures that I study, when they're actually just like wank material for him.
The other fun thing is, you mentioned we wouldn't get hockey mask Jason Voorhees for another year, but we do have a hockey mask on the dresser in Gary's apartment here. Kill by kill. I'm trying to make you proud here.
Maybe the Friday people saw this movie and said, bingo.
A slasher film with a hockey mask in it equals money? Not in this movie's case, but that's fine. Anyway, Gary is, he doesn't have a reason for not showing up at work for 2 days. The movie doesn't care about it. And only Taj really seems interested in pursuing this because Judd calls Gary just a peeping Tom, and they never commit serious crimes, which let me just switch podcast hats and switch over to Murder Made Fiction, the true crime podcast I co-host with Jen. Peeping Toms regularly escalate to sex offenders as well as serial killers. So just putting it out there, Gary is definitely a prime suspect.
Is Peeping Tom like the equivalent of like killing animals as children when you're going to become a serial killer?
Yeah, bedwetting, hits to the head, starting fires. These are actually all pretty notable signs. But, in 1980, we hadn't really done the criminal profiling thing as much.
Sure.
Anyway, all this to say, Judd is very much not concerned with Gary, so we need to go and track down Millette again. So we just go into his house without permission as well.
Yeah. But who's waiting for him?
That would be Eleanor. So he ends up back in this office and he's looking around. He's seeing interesting, i.e. suspicious objects, because there's a lot of decapitated heads in this office. But Eleanor comes in and she wants to know how he got in there. He doesn't want to answer her. He wants her to answer about these headhunting things. And this is where we will essentially get our motivation for why the heads go into water trace. So in New Guinea, there are these rituals that have existed before this continent, i.e. North America, were even discovered. Putting the heads of your enemies in water is actually about cleansing the souls of the dead of evil spirits.
Well, but collecting the heads to begin with allows you to possess your enemy's very life force, but you're doing them a service or a solid.
Yeah. I killed you, which means you're no longer alive, but I did at least cleanse your soul.
Yeah. And again, like this, I think we're meant to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's obviously Millette doing this because he knows about this ritual. But again, I'm watching this like, okay, well, it's Eleanor. Like, it's clearly Eleanor.
I literally have in my notes, oops, girl, I think you just told on yourself.
She 100% did, but...
Like, she knows it immediately. He's like, what's with all the headhunting stuff? She's like, let me tell you every reason why I killed all these women. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, shit. I said it out loud, didn't I? Damn it. Okay, so Eleanor goes to the college, and this is where she overhears Millette, her boyfriend, her baby daddy, the man that she wants to marry and have a child with, and he and Helene are fighting about more or less their respective interests in the female student body. And not educationally.
Well, I love this, though, because Millette even tells Helene, he's like, are you even interested in the girl's welfare? Because I'm like, he probably knows that she fucks his, like, sloppy seconds or leftovers.
Uh-huh. Yeah, or she's just going after other students as well. It's like, I could imagine a comedy version of this, which would be very dark. But I could imagine a kind of She's All That version where it's like, who can fuck the most co-eds before the end of the school semester between these two disturbed individuals?
Because we don't really meet any of the other faculty of this Wendell College, which again, it's like, oh, you're calling it night school and there's very little actual like school stuff going on in this movie. Like, there's
no
not even
trace. We're calling it Terrorize.
I know, because that's the thing, right? We don't even get a kill scene at the school except for the first scene, which isn't even at this school.
Is like, we went to the fucking aquarium on our $1.2 million budget because we wanted to highlight tourism destinations in the Boston area, but also the movie's fucking called Night School.
I mean, but truthfully though, terror eyes, like, there's not even an emphasis on eyes in this movie.
No, like that is not what the killer is doing. It should be decapitated headwaters.
Head in water.
Headwaters.
Head above water.
It's starting to sound like an erotic thriller.
Head underwater. Head underwater.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? We'll workshop it.
Yeah,
we'll workshop it. So all this to say, Eleanor definitely hears, oh, wow, Millette is doing a lot of this. So is fucking Helene. Okay, interesting. But she does not let them know that she is there. And then Judd decides he's going to tail Millette, but he ends up losing him. And that's partially because Taj calls him, so Lieutenant Judd Austin. He gets the call that, Gary is actually lurking outside of Helene's place, which I don't even understand the connection of why he would be there or how he knows to be there. It's a question mark.
Unless Eleanor placed the call, but that doesn't make any sense either. So
yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. All we need to do is get to Helene's place, and this is our rationale. Gary's out there and he's doing some suspicious shit. The other interesting thing is that Helene and Kathy are actually already there because we see Helene, she's in lingerie, as we have noted before, and she's fully just putting the moves on Kathy, who looks like she's halfway between enjoying it and halfway between dissociating.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the latter because, yeah, she is like, it's almost like she's pinned down to the bed, but there's nothing actually pinning her down. Like, she is immobile. I
mean, this predatory lesbian is all over this young couple.
Are we to believe that they have already had sex, or were they planning to have sex that gets interrupted?
I think the latter. Okay. Yeah, I think we were moving towards it. It's very, let me touch your body. Oh, you're not really moving. I'm going to keep going anyway. And then...
well, because she asked her, she's like, is this... Because I said, oh, good on her for at least saying, like, does this bother you? But that's where the power dynamic comes in, though. Like, that question kind of ceases to mean anything when that's the headmaster of your school.
That, absolutely. But also, if I'm in a sexual situation with somebody and they are not responding to me, like they're not kissing me back, they're not touching me back, they're staring at the fucking ceiling like they're waiting for this experience to be over. Read the room. Yes, exactly. Folks, consent is more than just verbal, please.
Yeah, read the body language.
Read the body you know what? Better title. Body language. Okay, yeah. So we're putting the moves on Kathy, but then the phone rings in her office. So Helene puts on her little, silk robe, and we go down again, stylishly shot because we've got a spiral staircase, which I fucking love.
Love it.
She goes into the office and she basically picks up the phone. Question, is this the killer calling or is this somebody else? Because if it's the killer, how? I think I just answered my own question.
No, I think you're right. It's not the killer, though. It's not possible.
Maybe it's Judd trying to get in touch with her to say, hey, there's some weird shit going on outside of your house. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. The phone rings. She goes into the office. And I love this decision. Mm-hmm. I could see some people feeling underwhelmed because, it's a murder and you're not getting to see it. No. But I love that the door closes. Like, we've seen the black glove hand, so we know what's about to go down. But I love that you think, oh, we're not even going to get to see it. We'll just hear it. But no, we actually get to see the blade come through the door. And at one point, Helene even starts to open it and it gets slammed shut.
Yeah, no, this is, to illustrate this, like, it is just a static shot of this door. Yeah, and we can just hear Helene getting murdered on the other side. Yeah, as you say, we'll get a stab through the door with this kukri. She'll open it, and because honestly, I had looked down taking notes when she opened it the first time, so it was one of those things where I was looking at it, and then I looked down, I looked up, and when I looked up again, there was blood on the door, and I was like, wait, how did that get there? And so I was like that, and then I rewinded and watched it. Like, this is really neat. Again, it's restrained but stylized.
Exactly that. Yeah, and I think this is the kind of thing where if you're not going to give me blood and gore and viscera and, Greg Nicotero style effects, this is smart. Like, you can do this with a limited budget and it still feels compelling. It still has an oomph and a power to it. Like, I found this memorable.
I agree. And again, we have 4 to 5 to 6 decapitations in this movie that we don't actually see. No. And for the most part, I don't really care.
Yeah, there were a couple of times. I don't love to start to see a blade slashing down and then we just cut and it's the body. We do that a couple of times, but it's not every time, we pepper in stuff like this. Or even, we see Kim start to get killed and then we just throw the head into the aquarium tank. And I thought, okay, that's cheeky. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that humorous comedic beat to it. But then we have Kathy over here, who the killer.
Trace, explain this timeline to me. Okay, so Kathy has just been laying in bed, as we said, dissociating this whole time, and she notices that the tap water is just running continuously. Like, how out of it and for how long?
Well, so the killer, Eleanor, seemingly walked through the bedroom that Kathy was in with Helen's severed head, dumped the head in the toilet without getting while getting it very covered in blood. Like, there's blood all over this toilet.
Yes.
Gets out all without Kathy noticing.
Yes. And then Kathy, who is clearly Mensa level intellect, she comes to investigate the running tap water. She turns it off, and then you can very clearly see the top part of someone's head peeking out of this toilet. Kathy has to get all the way in there and does she even lift it out?
I don't...
Or does she just... In any case, it's very clearly a decapitated human head floating in a fucking toilet. And I'm like, in my notes, bitch, what did you think was in there?
Yeah, and then the killer grabs her from behind, decapitates her too. Which I was also like, why didn't you just decapitate her when she was in bed?
Truly, yeah. Did you need to lure her out? Eleanor, why are you playing fun and fucking games with your victims here?
And I get it. That's just like slasher movie, like trope. Sure. That's what we do in these movies. But it was also just kind of like, I would be more forgiving if it led to like a really cool like murder set piece, but it doesn't.
No, it feels like the decapitated head in the toilet is the payoff. And, oh, right, we still need to deal with Kathy. I do kind of like that it's so unceremonious. Like, she doesn't put up a fight. She literally just gets dragged backwards to the bed, decapitated.
Yeah.
We done. Okay, not exactly sure why or how, but Judd seems to know that something violent has happened because he breaks down the door. So, okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't really, because what? The killer, Eleanor, pushes him down the stairs and just hightails it out of there, right?
Yes. And once again, when we say things like that, remember this is a figure in a full body leather black motorcycle outfit and helmet. So it's not like Judd saw who the killer is, but yeah. So this killer pushes him down the stairs, and then they hop on the bike and ride away, and Taj is right there, but he's been too busy arresting Peeping Tom Gary, who has been hiding in the bushes.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Bye-bye, Gary.
I do enjoy that Judd also tries to follow the killer, who is, as I said, on a motorcycle. Judd tries to follow on foot. You're just
right?
Like, sir, this is a motorized vehicle. You cannot keep up.
But he seems to know where to go anyway, so it's fine.
Well, I think at this point he has realized we're out of red herrings. If it's not Gary and it's not pervy headmistress, then there's only two people it could be, and I know that they live together.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a new day that is dawning. So as we see the bike going, we also see that it is sunrise. It is our last day, Trace. We follow the killer this time. So this is also how you know that the jig is up. We're into the climax because it's not Judd who makes this discovery. It's us following as the killer unmasks themselves, and we see it is Eleanor. I'm shocked.
Yeah, she does a little hair flip as she pulls the helmet off.
It's very, I'm cover girl, I'm a model.
100%.
She does it well. She does it well.
I was surprised that it was revealed like this kind of like in this fashion, you know, there wasn't a lot of like grandiose, like grandeur like going around it.
No, Millette just comes in and she's like, yeah, hi, I'm the killer. I've been getting rid of all of your exes or anybody that you make fuck guys at, and I will continue to do so for the protection of our family and our baby. And you're just like, okay, yeah.
So some choice quotes from Eleanor. So yeah, I did it for us, Vincent, and for our baby. Any threat to that sanctity, I must strike down. I did it because I love you.
Yep.
When he says she's completely insane, she's like, why? For performing a ritual that's been performed for thousands of years? And then the kicker, you know. And if you insist on having affairs with other women, I'm going to have to kill them too. Now that's logical, isn't it?
Yeah. Admittedly, Trace probably gave it a bit more zing than Eleanor actually does, but it is one of those things where, in some ways, she's so disaffected that it makes it more memorable. Like, would I have loved a bigger Mrs. Loomis, as you said? Yeah, it would have been great to have gotten a big fucking speech and had her go completely off the rails.
But I did read it as an intentional choice on her part.
I don't know. This again feels like, okay, we've got 2 takes to get it, and we're losing light or something.
And this is probably her most dialogue heavy scene that she's filming.
It is. Yeah.
She said I was more concerned about getting the lines out of my mouth than how they were delivered.
Yeah, but I do think it works. You know, even as she's saying this, though, we start to hear the police sirens because Judd and presumably Taj are on the way. So we have to make a quick and hasty plan. So she tells Millette, if I go out there, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill your baby. To which I said, well, what are you doing that they don't just arrest you, Eleanor?
I guess if she runs out guns ablazing, like kukri knife wielded,
I mean, sure, if you want to kamikaze go out, then yeah, they're probably going to shoot you, Eleanor.
But yeah, I wrote in my notes, I was like, they would not just kill you.
No. But anyway, so they have a bit of a struggle as we hear pounding on the door, and then we cut outside and we see that someone on a motorcycle is getting away. So, Trace, did you anticipate we were going to get a high-speed chase through the streets of Boston in this movie?
I did not. I fully predicted who was under this in this costume,
okay.
but I did not expect that we were going to end this movie with a motorcycle police car chase.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not like the most exciting thing you've ever seen, but it is kind of fun that this is technically the climax of the film. Mm-hmm. So we end up boxing this figure in so that there is no escape and they don't stop coming at us. So we open fire on them. They hit the front of the cruiser and the driver eats shit. And then we pull the helmet off. And I will say, I tried really hard not to laugh, but we're a little bit cross-eyed, Millette is, in his dying throes.
I mean, he's already dead. Like his neck is broken, I guess. And I'm like,
yes.
Because it didn't look like that bad of a hit whenever he hit the car. Like, he was sent flying, but like, it didn't look neck breakable, if that makes any sense. I was just like, okay, I guess he's dead. So, what, like, I don't know. Eleanor doesn't seem bothered by this.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, I guess she kind of got what she wanted, but, I mean, we see her teary-eyed at the funeral after the fact. I did like the touch that she is essentially the only person in attendance because, yeah, we blamed everything on Millette, which is clearly what he wanted when he made this sacrifice. So I also loved the touch that as this priest who is doing the sort of prayers before we lower the coffin into the ground, mid-prayer, she just walks away.
Walks away.
I'm done with this.
The priest even he stops. He's like, huh?
I mean, he's not reading for an audience of 0, so I guess I kind of get that. But yeah, we wrap up with this crane shot as Eleanor, is just walking down the street, and we see that Judd has clearly not been fooled by the switcheroo, so he is waiting for her at the end of this long walk, and he asks her if the ceremony is over. And I was just like, oh, that's a fun way of saying, I know that you're the killer, without the movie actually coming out and having him be like, I know you're the killer.
That's the thing, right? Because, he could be talking about the funeral ceremony, but he's rarely talking about her murder ceremony.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been a really good place to end the movie, with him
100%.
Watching her walk away. I know you're the killer, but it's okay.
Yeah, but you got away with it, and you're pregnant, so hopefully things will settle down because you're not just going to kill a bunch of women.
Yeah, and like, cool, fade to black, movie's over. But no.
No, so we have to follow Judd as he goes in to do some fucking paperwork at the police station, and then he comes out and he climbs into his police cruiser, and then, there's a killer in the back seat behind him, because he clearly doesn't know anything about urban legends. And then this is just revealed to be Taj, who was pulling a prank on him, to which I wrote in my notes, ha ha, but fucking why?
File a disciplinary report against this fucker right here. This is not funny.
It's one of those things where they, as I mentioned, they've had a bit of a weirdly combative, jokey rapport, but not to this level. This just feels like it has been so awkwardly shoehorned in here because we fucking saw Carrie.
Well, yes, but I would not be bothered by this if these were high school or college age boys. But these are grown ass men who are in the police force. And Taj has time in his busy day to go prank him on at the funeral of this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a better, more satisfying ending. Obviously, we would have never done it, but it would have been very fun if Judd had have instinctively reacted and just shot Taj dead.
Oh my god! I honestly would have fixed the movie. I'm sorry, would have fixed the ending of the movie.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that to say, that is the end of Night School. It's a whimper of an ending. It's a very stupid way to end this otherwise pretty okay to solid slasher film.
Yeah. I would say totally solid. It's not the best. It's far from the worst. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but that Carol chasing and then playing the game of Where's the Head?
Yeah.
Standout sequence in this film.
Worth the price of admission alone just for that sequence. I promise you.
And then quite literally the most predatory lesbian you could ever predatory lesbian.
It's wild. It is wild. So honestly, I am glad that we got to watch this because I had heard of this. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know I didn't have any expectations for this. Yeah, totally solid watch. Would recommend.
it's not going to rock your socks or anything, but in terms of like, oh, maybe you had some time between Christmas and New Year's or something. Yeah. Maybe you got some time off work and you're thinking, let's just watch a little slice of 80s cheese. Ooh, an American style giallo. Yeah, what could go wrong? The answer is you get a bunch of heads into a bunch of tanks. That's not bad.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. And yeah. Really high highs, mid lows. It's fine.
There we go.
All right, everyone. Well, before we announce what we're covering next week, just some quick housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our HorrorQueers Discord server. That link is in the show notes. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you'll get 445 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Hannibal Season 2, episodes 11 through 13, which is the end of Hannibal Season 2, everyone.
Yeah.
Sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Paul Feig's The Housemaid, and Wake Up Dead Man. And to coincide with that film, we've also got an audio commentary on the original Knives Out. In addition to, oh my god, we're really just dropping all the treats for our listeners this month. We are dropping our audio commentary from this year's Soho Horror Fest on Scream 3.
Yeah, double your audio commentaries this month.
So wild. But yeah, really fun listening if I do say so myself.
There we go. Yeah.
But Joe, we are done with 2025. Good riddance.
Yes.
What are we covering next week to kick off 2026?
Okay, we've got... I'm going to say this is a heavy hitter. It's a movie that I've been looking forward to revisiting, and not just because everybody should get cuckolded by a robot, but we're going to stick with a slightly feminist bent and talk about Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. I haven't seen this since it was in theaters, but I remember loving it in theaters.
Okay. Were you like me and you thought that the title was actually a play and it was actually Ex Machina? Machina? No. Okay.
But we can discuss more of that next week because I'm interested to hear that story.
No, that's the depths of my stupidity. That's all you get. You know what? I'm leaving the dumbness behind this year.
Well, until we can discuss Ex Machina next week.
Shut up.
We can cross out Night School.
Indeed. And cross out for the final time in 2025. And this year's theme, cross out Horror Queers.
A cinematic fever dream based on the visionary game.
You did it, didn't you, Jimmy? You woke him up.
No one said it would be easy.
Return to Silent Hill. Exclusively in theaters, January 23rd.